Hello everyone, and welcome to All Things Nintendo, where we cover all Nintendo news, games, reviews, and more. In this video, I'll be discussing my first impressions on the new Smash fighter, Sephiroth. So, with that, let's get right into it. Before I show you Sephiroth's moves, I just want to talk about Sephiroth as a character first. So, in case you didn't know, Sephiroth is from Final Fantasy VII, which is also the game that Cloud is from, and Cloud's also in Smash. And so, I think I was a little bit confused at first, since I've never played Final Fantasy VII. I was a little bit confused who he was when I first saw the trailer. But once I saw that he was the main villain of the game, then I decided he probably deserved a spot in Smash. Final Fantasy VII was originally released for the PlayStation, but now they've made Final Fantasy VII Remake that's out for PS4. And so that came out this year, and it makes sense why they would add Sephiroth to Smash to back up that new release. So now let's get into his moves. So here's his side smash, where he takes his insanely long sword and slashes it at the air. Here's his up smash, where he has insane reach and he slashes at the air. Here's his down smash, where he pokes at the ground. And here's his jab. His jab isn't anything special, and it doesn't do anything unique that most of their jabs don't. He just jabs his opponent, and then the final punch has okay knockback. But other than that, it's not any different than most jabs. So now for his specials. Here's his side special, where he fires a beam at you, and then 3 orbs circle you until the timer runs out, and then they attack you. And so as you can see, the longer you charge it up, the more orbs go. So there, I didn't charge it up at all, and only 1 orb added. And there's 3, so they charge it up for longer. And you can add up to 5, and then if you have all 5 on there, then they can do a pretty good amount of damage, as you just saw. So this is a good move, and you don't remotely detonate it. They just detonate when their timer comes up. So here is his neutral special. His neutral special is his most powerful of all his moves, and it charges. Here's his smallest charge. It goes the farthest, does the least amount of damage. Here is his medium charge, where it doesn't go as far as the less one, but it does more damage. And then the final charge. This one does so much damage, and if you shield breaks up one, this is what you're going to want to use. That. It is amazing, and it just destroys any opponent you face. So, but it doesn't have any range, though. Not really, at least. And so, you're not going to want to use it as a ranged attack, but I've used it a lot, and it does a lot of damage. Great for ledge guarding your opponents. So here's his down special. It's kind of like a counter, where it shields you from your opponent, and then you attack them, except they don't have to attack you for it to work. So your opponent doesn't have to attack you to trigger it. You'll automatically attack after you have your shielding time. So that's unlike most counters, but I think it's good because if their opponent doesn't attack you, then most counters don't work and you'll just get punished off the screen. So that's definitely good. Here's his up special. It's a charged one, where the less you charge it, the less damage it does. But the more you charge it, then you'll go into this insane slashing attack where you slash multiple times. Here, I'll show you attacking Sonic, but it just slashes a lot and does a ton of damage. But the only downside to it is that after you miss it, if you miss somebody with it, then you have a second where you're just stuck there and recovering from your attack. So if you miss someone, then you're wide open for a perfectly placed smash attack. But it goes pretty fast if you don't charge it up at all, but the more you charge it up, it's the best. And it can fire any direction, even from the ground. So it's a very versatile move that I think definitely adds to Sephiroth's range and to his moveset. But it's also pretty good for recovering, too. Unlike most recoveries, it can actually get places, and it does a lot of damage. Because most recoveries that are really good and can recover from a long distance away, they don't do anything. But this recovery is great as an attack and a recovery, so I like it. Here are his airs. As you can see, here's his up air, where he has insane reach and slashes at the air. Here's his neutral air, where he kind of snaps around him. And this one's great for short hopping, because if you attack with a short hop, then it's very hard to miss your opponent if you're running at them. And so his neutral air is pretty useful, but pretty similar to a lot of other neutral airs too. And so his airs are pretty good with all their insane reach. Here's his forward air, where he pokes forward at the air, And here's the other thing his forward air can do, the main use of it. You can poke at the wall, and this is great if you're playing on a non-competitive stage, or if you just run out of recovery, because then you can just fling yourself back up onto the stage if you're just out of reach of that ledge. And so it's pretty useful. Here's his back air, where he has pretty good reach, and he just slashes behind him, just like all of his moves. It has great reach, and that's part of what makes Sephiroth so special. But overall, I think he's a pretty great character, and he can be dangerous in the right hands. Now, here are a couple other things I want to show you. Here are his taunts. So he kinda, I don't know what that means in Japanese, but he just kinda says, "Come at me," kinda similar to Ryu's taunt. Here's a second one where he just shows off his insanely long sword at you. It's way too long, but he just kinda shows it off. And here's his last one where he just kind of has a dark aura around him. Again, I don't know the meaning of this since I haven't played Final Fantasy, or if they have any symbolism to the actual story, but if not, they still look cool, just like most taunts, and I say they're okay. Nothing special. I like Steve's taunts better, but they're pretty good. Here are his throws. That was his back throw where he teleports you behind him. His forward throw, he throws you forward with dark magic. His up throw, he throws you up and slashes you with his sword. And his down throw, he uses dark magic to throw you at the ground. And so overall, I like his back throw just because it looks cool, but none of them are overly powerful or anything. So while they're good, I don't think they're going to do a whole ton of damage. So before I get started, I'm going to show you a match with Sephiroth, but before I do that, I'll show you some of his alt costumes. So most of his alt costumes actually aren't very different from each other. They just changed the color of his armor, and so you likely couldn't tell them apart, except for this one, where he doesn't have a shirt on. It reminds me, honestly, a lot of Shirtless Shulk, but other than that, all of his other costumes aren't really very different, but those are the main two that you can definitely tell a difference. But here we go, I'll just get right in. As you can see, I'm facing a level 9 CPU, just a random level 9 CPU, so let's see who I get. Okay, so I got Lucina, who's pretty good, I must say, and just remember that since he came out today, I'm not very good with him yet, but I'll try my best to beat Lucina here. Kinda getting beat up at the beginning, but I'll also try to utilize as much of his moveset as I can, but okay, there we go. That's what I was telling you about when I was showing you that move initially. If you shield break someone, then you can use this to almost insta-kill them, and so that's definitely a very useful move, that neutral special. So, I forgot to mention this when I was explaining to you about the character. Oh, I just killed myself. That is a very good suicide move. But in case you noticed, Sephiroth sprouted one wing on his back. And after he gets above 80 damage, then he does that. And similar to Joker's persona, it powers up his moves. And his moves themselves aren't actually indifferent, but they just do more damage. And so he's really deadly when he's above 80% damage. Just showing off that insane reach of his up air, which is probably his best air, in my opinion. Okay, as you see, I just sprouted that wing again, so my attacks are going to do more damage from now on. As I was saying, that up special is really powerful if you can land it. But you've got to make sure you land it, because it's kind of like Banjo and Kazooie's side special. If you miss it, then you'll have a second where you're caught off guard and recovering from your attack. So they're both down to one stock now. So there's that counter at work where she doesn't have to attack me, and she didn't there. But it's pretty useful, because if they see you counter, then even if they don't attack you, it'll still hit. So there's that back throw. So there's my win, a third time. So my attacks are going to do a pretty good amount of damage from now on. Here we go. And there's that up smash to seal it. Now, lastly, I wanted to show you his win screen. His win screens are all pretty cool, and they're pretty different from most other fighters' win screens, but you can't really tell Sephiroth's own from each other. So, in conclusion, my thoughts on Sephiroth, is he good or bad? Well, I think I'm going to say that he's definitely a good addition to Smash. He's definitely good in Smash for many reasons. He's great for all Final Fantasy fans. Now, I don't think he's as good as Steve, our last DLC fighter, because everybody knows Minecraft, and, I mean, they broke Twitter when they dropped the announcement. They definitely didn't do that with this announcement. But he still fits into Smash pretty well, and he can be pretty dangerous in the right hands. So, that's it for this video. If you like this video, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel to stay up to date in the latest Nintendo news. I'll be posting more Super Smash Bros. Stuff and everything else Nintendo. And as always, see you next time.